couple minutes after in my clock, so let's go ahead and get started here today. Welcome, everybody. My name is Ben Jewell. I'm an extension educator for the University of Nebraska Extension. I'm based in Otoe County, Nebraska, covering the southeast corner of the state, and here to welcome you all to the November Nebraska Regional Food Systems Initiative network meeting. It's great to have you all with us today. We are going to have a guest speaker here in just a minute. We'll get Cindy Brison here going as our guest speaker for today. If you're available to do so, would you please introduce yourself in the chat box, your name, where you're located, and what organization you work for, please, or who you are here representing. Would love to just kind of know who's in the room here today. And as you do that, I'm going to welcome Cindy Brison to the meeting today. Cindy is a extension educator also for the University of Nebraska in our Douglas Sarpy County office. And Cindy is our resident expert on the Cottage Food Law, which is what she's going to be here to talk about today. So Cindy, welcome. Thank you. And I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's find what I'm sharing first. Thank you for having me today. It's one of those days where you have 400 screens open and they're all blinking at you. So let's see, let's try this. It'll work. So thank you for having me. How did I get involved with cottage foods? So probably the same way that any of us gets involved with anything. Before the year 2000, in 1999, our office started getting phone calls from people who wanted to put away food and water, because they thought, obviously Y2K, that the world was going to end, and they were putting away a year's worth of food in their garage and 200-gallon water tanks in their backyard. So since we were getting the phone calls and we were dealing with them, we became the Y2K people. Pretty much how we got involved with cottage foods. In 2019, the unicameral passed the Nebraska Cottage Food Law. And part of the requirements to be a cottage food producer is that they had to take a food safety course. What hadn't happened, though, was any food safety course. So they just said you had to take a certified food safety course. And so people were calling us wanting to take the food handlers courses that we teach for restaurants. And so I got a hold of the Department of Ag and said, are you guys going to create a course? Is something going to are you going to work on anything? And no, they didn't have any plans. So we asked if it's something that we could do. And they said, yeah, they fully supported us. So we looked around at Minnesota and Colorado. Minnesota is one of the excellent places for cottage foods. And we looked at Iowa and North Dakota. And we found that the Minnesota class was pretty close to what we needed at that time. So we asked Minnesota Extension if we could adapt their class for Nebraska. And they said yes. So my colleague Nancy Urbanik and I worked on adapting the class, and in 2020 the class went live. It was online. We also taught it in person, and ever since then it has been updated at least once yearly, if not twice. I was just looking at my numbers a few minutes ago. We have had over 2,000 people take the course in the state of Nebraska just from Extension, and that's brought in quite a bit of revenue for us. And we use that revenue, we put it right back into the course, and we also use it for professional development for our food safety people to better help consumers and producers. So what has happened, though, what's our big news, and this is what I'm showing you on the screen right now. In July of this year, I think the 19th to be exact, the new Cottage Food Law went into effect. So up until July, the only thing you could sell as a cottage food producer would be things like baked goods, breads, cookies, things like that. No cream cheese frosting, nothing that needed to be refrigerated or kept hot. So in July, that all changed. So they changed the new law, and now it states you can sell pretty much anything that doesn't have a vertebrae, meaning no meat. So now people can sell cheesecakes and cheese enchiladas and all different sorts of things. So in order to stay on top of what was going on, we created a brand new webpage. Thank you, Abby Schneider, who is super, it wouldn't have happened if she hadn't done it for me. So we worked together we have this brand new Cottage Food Law webpage from Extension, and it walks you through, you can get on the webpage, it's cottagefoodlaw.unl.edu. You can register for the class here, it's $25. The class has not gone up since 2020 when we started offering it. It is online. Takes about an hour to an hour and a half to go through. When you're done, you have your certificate. You can register for free on the Department of Ag's website, and you're ready to be a producer in an hour and a half. We also now offer the class in Spanish, which is something new that happened in July too. We're pretty excited about that. So we can offer it in 2 languages. Our website talks about very basic things that people can go back to. Where can you sell? What can you sell? What do you need to sell? How do you label the things you're selling? It walks you through everything that's in the class. It talks about what can you sell. Again, you can sell. The nice thing in the state of Nebraska is you can sell anything that doesn't need to be refrigerated or kept hot. You can have somebody come to your house and pick it up. You can take it to their house. You can sell it at a farmer's market. You can sell it at a craft fair, or you can put it in the mail, which is really nice. We don't, the law specifically states if you have something like a cheesecake or cheese enchiladas, you know, you can transfer those up to 2 hours, but they have to be kept hot or cold. The big thing within the Cottage Food Law that's causing probably the most questions when somebody goes to sell is that as a cottage food producer, you must hand the food directly to the person you're selling it to. So if I am selling cupcakes, they either have to come to my house to pick up the cupcakes, I can mail them the cupcakes, or I can bring them the cupcakes. Those are the things I can do. I can't give them to a friend to deliver them. I can't sell them to a grocery store. A lot of people who run coffee shops want to buy baked goods from cottage food producers, and you can't do that. That's wholesaling. So if the cottage food producer is sitting in the coffee shop specifically selling her cinnamon rolls or his cinnamon rolls, you can do that. But the cottage food producer, the whole point of it is that they are handing the food off to the consumer that they're selling to. And the big thing with cottage foods is that's the thing that sells. When a consumer gets to meet the person that makes their food, it really gives them confidence. It helps with return sales, especially if the food is good. And it's one of those things where it brings a lot of revenue to the state of Nebraska. Last year, from the surveys that I sent out, roughly, and it's probably an underestimate, is that the cottage food industry in Nebraska probably brought in over $1 million worth of revenue last year. And that, again, that's a conservative figure. So we see everybody doing this. So it's something, the nice thing about this is you don't need a brick and mortar kitchen. You don't need to have the health department come in. There's no age limit. So we conservatively make recommendations that we prefer you be at least 4-H age. So please be at least 8. If you're 8, I would prefer that your parents are helping you. Somebody's in the kitchen with you. We have a lot of people that have done things for for schools to do fundraising. We have worked with a lot of local schools, local high schools. A lot of Plainview comes to mind. Plainview High School. We worked with them to teach the cottage food class to their FCS class. And now those students are freeze drying items to sell as fundraisers in class to raise money. You know, perfect thing to do. And now that they're certified, they can go off on their own and sell things at farmers markets. Or you don't have to have a cottage food registration to sell at farmers markets, but many farmers market managers are requesting that the people that sell at their markets become cottage food producers. Not a law, but can be a request from the farmers market manager. So we have a lot of people that, again, from one age to the other. The nice thing about cottage foods is that, I want to sell only at Christmas. So I make great Christmas cookies. So I'm only going to sell at this time of the year. Some people make great sourdough bread, which is the #1 bread in the state, as far as cottage foods. You know, so they may sell all year long. It just kind of depends. Last year we had a lady who was selling Christmas cookies, decorated Christmas cookies. She was getting $14 per cookie in her sales. We have a lady who's quit her daytime job, and she sells cakes and other baked goods, and she's excellent at it, and she gets, she does a really good job. So we have people that, maybe they sell, throughout the year, it's no big deal. We have people that have quit their full-time job that actually have made brick and mortar stores work for them. There was a student, I'm sure a lot of you may have seen in the news, probably last spring, a Creighton student who was kind of selling cookies on the side while he was going to college to make some extra money out of his parents' house. And it got to be such a big thing that once he graduated from Creighton, he now has a brick and mortar store, and I think he's the person that sells crumble cookies. So we see a lot of people go from, I sell a few cookies here in the summer to, hello, I have a business. So how Extension is involved is we're here to help them get certified, or it's not a certification, it's a registration. We help them with the class, whether it's in person or we do a lot of Zooms. Throughout the year, we Zoom to teach the class so we can cover the state. We also have educators throughout the state that are teaching it on their own, which I think is great. So you can either take it in person or take it online in your jammies. It's pretty simple. The law states once you take the class and you're registered, you're done. That's it. You don't ever have to renew it. So I keep an email listserv of all the people that have gone through the UNL course. And periodically I send them out, hey, there's this great venue or this great professional development. If you're interested, check it out. Or, hey, the web page has changed, check this out. Or, oh, we're going to have twice a year this year. We work really closely with local health departments, and especially the Department of Ag here in Nebraska. They're the people that are fulfilling the law for cottage foods. We work with them where we have presented Zoom. So we have a live Zoom in the evening. We try to make it so Mountain Time and Central Time all work together. We have a live Zoom where the Department of Ag gets on with me, and all that happens is cottage feed producers ask questions. Can I sell this? What about this? What about this? So we ask for some questions if they have questions ahead of time so we can get them going. But it usually lasts about an hour and a half. We record it. So those who couldn't come can get it the next day. I send out the notes. Here are the questions that were asked. Here are the answers. And here's the recording if you want to go back and look at it. And out of 2,000 people, you would be amazed at how many people go back. We get comments. There's a Nebraska Cottage Bakers Facebook page. I also send out all of our information on their site too. They're very kind. They asked if I would become a member, so I answer questions on there. When they ask me to, I send them out information. Hey, on East Campus this summer, there's going to be an East Campus Discovery Days. If you want to try out what you're selling, sign up for Discovery Days. It's a great place for you to go. So we help consumers with things like that. And if we don't have the answers, we either send them to the Department of Ag, the local health department. A lot of questions we're dealing with now that we're trying to set up on our webpage. What about business practices? What about insurance? What about, do I need to make sure, do I pay taxes? That was always a good one. All these questions we really, really try to help people with. Our job in Extension is to help these people succeed at what they're doing. You can see, these are the things. So when the new law came about, it wasn't written. We used to have 4 pages of things you could sell. Now we have this area right here that says what you can't sell, and that's it. Anything else is, on the table. So you can't sell any animals. You can't sell fluid milk, meaning you can't sell dairy, but you can definitely use dairy. You can sell, something made with cream cheese frosting. You can sell a cheesecake. You can sell anything like that. No raw eggs, but if you want to be an egg producer, if you have a backyard flock, which is huge, you get an egg number. We have the information on our site on how to get a free egg number. No unpasteurized juices, no infused oils or infused honey, because it's so dangerous that, with botulism and all different sorts of things. that's a really good call on their part. Sprouts. Nebraska is one of the biggest producers of sprouts. Nebraska is also one of the biggest producers of foodborne illness and salmonella with sprouts. So no sprouts. Nothing canned except jams or jellies. So no canned salsa, but you can sell fresh salsa and keep it refrigerated. No pickles, nothing fermented, no kombucha, no shaved ice. You have to have a different license to sell that. No meat substitutes or tofu, anything like that. And that's it. That's what you can't sell. So this list gives people a lot of leeway. Up until July, people couldn't sell anything freeze-dried. The freeze-drying revolution is huge. It's been very popular for about a year and a half. People are buying $3,000 freeze dryers and putting in their home, and they wanted to sell something besides freeze-dried Skittles. So now they can sell freeze-dried fruits and vegetables. They can sell freeze-dried cheese, freeze-dried cottage cheese. They can sell all different sorts of things. So it's really kind of opened up to what people sell. Lots of people sell, bottled coffee. They sell dried coffee. They sell dried teas, all different sorts of things. So it's not just baked goods anymore. Everybody's found their niche of gluten-free products, things that are low in sugar. If a consumer finds a producer who is selling things that are allergen free, and they truly are allergen free, and they have they get it home and it's good and they have no issues, they'll go back to that person because they trust them. We have some information about business requirements, definitely not as much as I would like. We're working on that. We talk about labeling because labeling is specific to what you're selling. You don't have to put the allergens on there, but there's a disclaimer you put on all your cottage foods that say it's not made, with the health department. It wasn't subject to inspection. And if you are selling something that needs to be refrigerated or kept hot, then it needs to have the ingredients on it so you know what's in it. And lots of traceability. You have the person's name and address who made the food so you know where it goes back to.